Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. This is Zelcadia from Zelcadia Gaming. Today we're going to be doing something fun, building off of one of our prior projects where we ranked all of the characters from Mario Tennis Aces version 3.1 of the game. We did it actually with some of the best players in the game. To develop that previous tier list, you can find the link to that video in the description. Today, we are building off of the AI craze and having a little bit of fun, asking Chat GPT to rank the characters in Mario Tennis Aces. The description was pretty simple. We asked Chat GPT to rank the characters from S to F, with F being the worst, for standard mode of the game, and to give us a 1 to 2 sentence description of each. I'll let you be the judge of how ultimately this turned out. Feel free to comment, like, share, and also join us in the Discord to play with us and other high-level players in the game. We'd love to hang out with you. And also, if you want to see the real tier list, again, check that video. Click that link in the description for that video as well. And if you enjoy this and want to see more tier lists from AI, let us know what you'd like to see in the comments. And also, again, please do subscribe. It really helps us out. So, okay, let's do it. We're just going to go by the list that we see here. If I remember to do so, I'm also going to comment on what we ranked last time with some of the expert players in the game. First up, though, we have Toadette. Toadette, I believe we had ranked for standard mode previously pretty high. I think she was around a B or an A. ChatGPT ranks Toadette not too far off. Toadette actually gets a B rank. The descriptions are relatively generic, so forgive me for that. Toadette is similar to Toad with good speed, but lacking in power. So if that's the case, where does ChatGPT put Toad? I know I said it's going to go in order. Toad, on the other hand, apparently is going to get A tier. According to the ChatGPT, we actually ranked Toad lower than Toadette previously. The description for Toad is it's a quick character with good speed but lacks power. That's not too far off, but I certainly would not put Toad in A tier by any means. Next up, we have Diddy Kong, who tends to give me a little bit of trouble as Chain Chomp. But he doesn't, depending on the player, of course, but he doesn't tend to do well in the rankings. I think he normally falls around C or D. Diddy Kong is going to end up as a C tier, probably close to where he belongs. Diddy Kong has good speed and agility, but lacks power and reach. So it looks like a lot of these descriptions are just basing it on their attributes based on speed and power. So there's really not a lot of cool commentary to it, unfortunately. For our next one, maybe if we ask it to give us a singles or a doubles pair ranking, we'll ask it to be a little bit more flourishing in some of its replies. But let's continue onward. We have the big man. We have Bowser. The players that play Bowser are actually really good, but I don't think Bowser himself ends up very high on the traditional tier list. But some of those Bowser players that we go up against are going to be happy with this result. The big man is ending up in the S tier. High power, speed, and reach, making him a well-rounded character. I don't know about his reach or his speed. That's actually very much a lie. I guess that's not even close at all, but that's okay. Now, the de facto S rank character is up next. Peach the princess, where is she going to end up? Not too far off, actually. Peach is going to get an A ranking. Great control and can place her shots well. That's true, making her a great all-around character. She actually does score better than Toad on this list, so she'll get placed there. Next up, though, is Rosalina. Typically the opposite of what you'll see with Peach. Peach is normally S, Rosalina is down in F. But Rosalina is going to take the prize, actually, and jump ahead of Peach right here. Because she has great reach and control, and her trick shots is one of the best in the game. That's what gives her S tier, according to ChatGPT. That's actually not too... I mean, her trick shot, I can certainly hear it in my mind every time, but I don't know if that's where she should belong. Next up, we have Shy Guy. Shy Guy can very much be a polarizing character. We tend to rate him around the middle of the pack, usually around B ranking, but he's going to end up as an F tier. Some folks may appreciate that, others not so much. Shy Guy lacks power and reach and can be difficult to control. I've never played as a Shy Guy. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but it's certainly not where I would place him. Next up, we have Bowser Jr. Jr. was actually really good in some of the earlier versions of the game. Typically, he'll also be down here in F rank. Now, though, he's actually getting a promotion all the way up to A, close to where Bowser himself is. Bowser Jr. has great speed and agility, and his trick shot is very useful for quickly covering ground. Now, I know he likes to jump around, but not quite as such. Next up, we have Daisy, who also regularly scores well, usually around A, if you ask me. This time, Daisy's actually going to fall to the top of B tier. She's similar to Peach with good control and shot placement. That's the description we were given. Not at all quite. She's actually very much it's close to where she should be, but she should end up on A. In our previous tier list, I believe she was actually it was very much close, but she was on the edge of the pack for A. Now, we have the Wah himself, Waluigi. A lot of folks play Waluigi. Our longest match was, I think, against a Waluigi, and he has quite a few fans to still play the game. He actually has scored pretty well previously. He's usually in the A tier. Some of the Wah fans may or may not be happy with his placement here. He is actually going to surprise us all and end up in the S rank, in between Bowser and Rosalina. With those results, can you dispute anything else? It must all be true, right? He has long reach and powerful shots, making him difficult to counter. Not one mention of his excellent defense, though, which is quite surprising. This is a Mario Tennis Aces tier list generated by Chat GPT. If you're enjoying this, don't forget to subscribe and also check us out on Discord to hang out with us as we play the game with you all live for some friendlies and more. Next up, we have Yoshi. Yoshi typically scores really well. I'd probably put him on S rank. Normally, Yoshi this time is, not too far off. A near miss. He's going to end up at an A rank right behind Peach. Actually, that's exactly where we had placed him last time, I think, but on the S rank. So that's actually almost spot on if they were both up one additional rung. Yoshi has great speed and can cover the court quickly, making him a great defensive character. Not too far off of some of those things. Next, we have Spike. Spike is one of those middle-of-the-road type of characters, and I think he'll probably be close to there again, although not as high as I think we'd normally place him. Spike is going to be on C tier. He has good power, but he can be slow and difficult to maneuver. I don't know. I think I see Spike getting all over the court when I go up. He can get everything I shoot at him when I'm Chain Chomp, so that description seems a little bit off. I'd put him up another rung, maybe. Next up, we have Koopa Troopa. Koopa Troopa is one of those few characters that if you had to have an S tier, I think it goes without saying he would end up there on standard mode. This time, where is he going to end up? Okay, Koopa, just found him, is going to end up on B tier. 2 rungs down, exactly where he would have been on the S rank. Well-rounded character, but lacks power and reach. But they failed to mention his speed, his ability to cross that court quickly. But he did get 2 points off for that. He's in the B tier. Speaking of B, we have the Boo himself. This one is going to hurt. I think Boo actually, though, Boo is a tricky character to rank because the people that play him now are still really good. And if you look at the players that play Boo, they are impressive and skew the rankings just based on that alone. But I think he normally would fall around B rank, somewhere around there. Boo is going to clock in at C tier, actually right ahead of Spike. He has great agility and can move around the court quickly, but lacks power. that does fail to take into account his tricky factor. But next up we have the Donkey Kong himself. Donkey Kong, we're going to place him at A tier. He's going to be right above Bowser Jr. He has high power and reach, but can be slow and difficult to maneuver. I do agree with some of that. He's definitely slow. Not really slow, but his maneuverability, unless you can get that action, that strut, that DK strut going on, I don't know. I think it's hard to get that finishing blow. He'll normally fall around B tier, so A may be getting a little bit too much. Next up, we have Birdo. Birdo also usually falls around B tier, and that's right where she's going to end up this time as well. She is going to stay right behind Toadette. Birdo has good control, but lacks power and can be slow. And now we have Koopa Paratrooper. Koopa Paratrooper, there's not many strong players that still play him. There are a few that come to mind. He would typically... Where would I place Koopa Paratrooper? Probably below B, I would say, on the average overall. In this case, though, he is going to end up on B tier, behind Birdo. Well-rounded character who lacks power and reach. Next up, we have the Drowser. Drowser normally falls on the F tier, and that's exactly where he's going to end up this time. That's one thing we got right. I'm not keeping score. That's going to be tough to do. But this one is spot on for the money. Slow and difficult to maneuver with low power and control. Next up is our boy, Chain Chomp. I mean, I've always been very biased here. I would probably put him, though, at A rank. You know, if I took bias out of the equation. Chat GPT, though, disagrees and is going to place him. This hurts me on the inside. He's going to be the king of C rank. I think C for Chomp. That's how I'm going to sleep at night. C for Chomp. It's going to be the Chomp tier. Not really, but that's how I can get over it. But he's going to be the head of Chomp tier, C rank. He has high power and reach, but can be slow and difficult to maneuver. That's actually one thing I can comment on with authority. I can certainly say that he has high power and reach. I disagree with him being slow and difficult to maneuver. Some people say that he is like he's just really heavy. I disagree. He's like a very versatile bowling ball. He can get around all over the place. I don't know. I don't see it. I actually disagree with the difficult to maneuver. Chain Chomp typically does incredibly well. Next up, we have Mario himself. Mario, despite being namesake, actually typically performs very well. Or, sorry, hardly ever performs very well. And typically will end up around D or F tier. I think probably D, because that's normally where we need some people in D rank. Chat GPT, though, is going to rate Mario. Where are we going to place on Mario? Mario's actually spot on for the money, too. He lacks power, and he lacks reach, and his maneuverability is low. I don't know if I agree with that completely, but I do agree with the placement. The logic is wrong, per se, because Mario can keep the game going, but the placement is where it needs to be. We are down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, the last 10 characters to rank. So we've gone through 2/3 of the characters of this game. We are ranking, ChatGPT is ranking Mario Tennis Aces characters for standard mode. Make sure you click subscribe if you haven't done so already. We'd appreciate the support. Make sure you click the bell, and also make sure you join us on Discord so you can hang out with us, and also suggest other tier lists that we can have Chat GPT work through as well. Next up we have Petey Piranha. Petey Piranha actually usually scores very well on standard mode, ends up on S rank. He is probably the worst. This is probably like the biggest miss Chat GPT could give. Petey gets an F. He is F rank. Slow, difficult to maneuver, low power, and control. I think almost everything Chat GPT said was wrong. Almost everything. I mean, I guess except maybe he is slow. He is sort of slow, but he sort of hobbles along pretty well. Next up, we have Luma. Luma scores debatably high A or S rank on standard mode. This is another, I'm actually quite amazed myself. This is another huge miss. Though I'm sure some people are happy with this ranking. Luma is going to be right above Dry Bowser on the F tier. Lacks power and reach and can be difficult to control. Maybe from the opposing point of view, he's difficult to control and rein in. But again, almost everything said about Luma was wrong. Forgive that the descriptions are very one-dimensional. We didn't ask for more creativity, but this is what we've got. Next up, we have Luigi. Luigi also usually scores very well. This time, and actually, this is pretty interesting, Luigi is one of those that scored right on the money. That's exactly where we had placed him. We placed him at the top of A rank, A tier, and he's going to fall there again. Great speed and control, and his trick shot is one of the best in the game. I don't know about that, but it is pretty fast, trick shot. But I don't know if Luigi is particularly known for his trick shot. I'll let that be up for debate. Next up, we have the other big man. We have Wario. Wario is probably in the lower half of the Mario Tennis Aces players normally, and this time he's heading all the way up to A rank. He is above Bowser Jr. Or did I go? Oh, I dropped him. He's above Bowser Jr. in A rank. High power, good reach, but he can be slow. I agree with the power. I agree with the slow, and sometimes his reach is okay in the right hands, but I would not say that warrants him being at the A rank. Next up, we have Pauline. Pauline typically scores in the C, maybe D, and that is exactly where she is going to end up. Actually pretty low, lower than I would put her, but she's in like the far end of the lacking power and reach and difficult to control. Again, the descriptions are a bit off, but the placement is more or less okay. Now we have Blooper. Blooper falls in the middle of the pack, usually, probably in B tier somewhere. Again, some may debate that, but that's exactly where he's going to end up this time. So again, this one's probably spot on. So Blooper is a B tier. He's actually, they put him ahead, or not ahead of Koopa, behind Koopa. Sorry, Koopa Troopa. Blooper is right behind Koopa Troopa. We're the number 2 slot there. He has good control, but lacks power and reach. Now we have Dry Bones coming up. Dry Bones, I think, would be middle of the pack. Actually, probably the bottom half, probably closer to C than a B. He will end up in a D rank this time. Dry Bones will be the head of D ranking. He has low power and reach and can be difficult to control. Not mentioning at all his tricky back trick. He's just going to end up there. That is what it is. The next two are interesting. Fire Piranha Plant and Kamek. These two are what we normally wait for. The heroes of Mario Tennis Aces and our previous tier list. Kamek almost got an S ranking, the top of the class. Fire Piranha Plant, there are a few notable players. We actually had Fire Piranha Plant and Kamek serving on both sides of the F ranking in our previous tier list. And Fire Piranha Plant is actually going to end up exactly in the same position, actually better, in a better position than PD Piranha, getting that F rank. So Fire Piranha Plant better than PD Piranha. I don't know if I can even say that with a straight face, but he has low power and reach and can be difficult to control. Now the hero of Mario Tennis Aces, Kamek, which actually I may need to adjust the tier list here, because playing Kamek he has a lot of potential, which was not at all noticed when we made our original tier list. He really belongs in the F rank, and I think Chat GPT is going from prior information. We're actually going to put Kamek down, where right down in the middle of F tier, that's where Chat GPT puts him. Slow, difficult to maneuver with low power and control. That's not too far off for Kamek if you were looking at this from the typical lens. However, playing as him again these past months, he has a lot of potential in the right hands. So maybe he is really deserving of a 1 or 2 tier boost for that latent potential. So there you have it. This is our Mario Tennis Aces tier list created by Chat GPT. The descriptions were a little lame, but the outcomes were pretty interesting. If you had to look at them, let's do a quick count. If we just go by our original tier list, let's see how many were on point. 30 characters in the game. I'm just going to consider a hit as someone that's on the same tier that we had placed them at. Nobody in S tier is accurate. A tier, we have one, just going by our previous, we have one so far. I'm just going quickly here. B tier, we have a hit for Blooper's a hit. Birdo is a hit. So we have 3. Chain Chomp should be a -3, unfortunately. No one on C rank. D rank, we have 1, that's a hit, but it's a 4. And then we have a 5 with Fire Piranha Plant, 6 with Kamek, 7 with Dry Bowser. So that's 7 out of 30 that were spot on. If you were to go by +1, maybe it's a little bit different. So if you're off by 1, I think maybe it gets a little bit better. I don't know. Just doing this very quickly. So 7 being spot on, and then off by 1. Bowser is not off by 1. Waluigi is off by 1. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see, Donkey Kong. That's 4 still. So we have 4. I'm going quick. If I miss one, forgive me. 5, 6. 7, 8, 9, Diddy Kong, 10, Boo is 11, Spike is 12, 13 with Dry Bones, Mario's 14, Pauline is 15, 16, Shy Guy, what do we know? But yeah, 16 with Fire Piranha Plant, 17 with Kamek, at 18 with Dry Bowser. So, the final total, 7 out of 30 spot on. what did I say, 17 or 18 with plus or minus 1. That's a little bit over 50%. Not too bad. So there you have it, folks. It's Mario Tennis Aces tier list created by Chat GPT. Make sure you subscribe and make sure you click on the link in Discord to come hang out with us and play Mario Tennis Aces and other games as well. Make sure you like, comment, and share, and let us know in the comments what you thought about these tier lists, and if there's any other AI tier maker that you'd like to see, let us know, and we'll make an attempt to do it. We certainly owe you simples and doubles from Mario Tennis Aces, but we're open to other games and also series as well. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you next time.